Hello everyone. Today we are going to see how to do CRUD operation in Android using Java language. Now, if you want to learn CRUD operation in Kotlin language, then watch this tutorial. Link is given in the description box. Now, CRUD operation means create, update, read and delete data from our database. So today we are going to see insert, update, delete operation on database in Android using Kotlin language. So let's see what we are going to learn today. First, we will see how to create database, how to create helper class, how to create a table. After that, we will see how to select the data from the table, how to insert, update and delete data from the particular table. And we will done this task using list view. Now, the best practice is to use recycle view. But in this tutorial, we are going to implement list view so we can understand list view in detail. So this tutorial become bit larger, but watch the tutorial till end. And if you like this tutorial, don't forget to subscribe our channel, do support. So let's begin. Here I have created new project. In this project I have created two activities. First is main activity. In this main activity I have taken linear layout, and in this linear layout I have taken list view, and below this list view I have taken button to insert the new record. Now in this second activity I have taken one edit text and one button to insert the record. So we will do the CRUD operation using these two activities. Now in this tutorial I am not covering the design part because we are focusing on the CRUD operation using SQLite. So let's learn how to create the database helper class. So here we will create one package named as database. Now in this package we are going to create new class file named as database handler. Now this database handler extends SQLite open helper. Now this will show error because we have not created the constructor and we have not implemented the methods. So here we will create some static variables for our database. So first we will create private static final integer database version. We will set the database version as 1. Whenever you update your app, you have to update your database version. After that, we will create one variable for our database name, which is the type of string variable. It is a best practice to write all the static variables in the capital letter. Now we will give our database name as country data. After that, we will create one variable for our table name. So write private static final string table country equal to country. Now below this we will create two variables for our column names. So the first variable is ID and the second variable is for country name. Now we will create the constructor. For that we will write public database handler, and in this bracket we will pass context. Now we will call the super method, and here we have to pass context first. After that we have to pass the database name. After that we have to pass null in cursor factory, and at the end we have to pass the database version. Now we have to override two methods, onCreate and onUpgrade. So we will simply click here and implement these two methods. So in onCreate method we will create our table. So write string create country table equal to. Now here we have to write the query to create the table. If you don't know SQL queries, then comment below. I will make the detailed tutorial on it. So here we have to write create table, then we have to write the table name. So in our case it is stored in table underscore country. After that we have to create two columns. So write ID, which is the type of integer and it is a primary key. Now below this we will specify another column name as country name, which is the type of text. So our query is written. Now we have to execute this query. For that we have to use this SQLite database variable. So write SQLite database dot execute SQL, and here we have to pass the query which is written in create country table. So our table is created. Now in this upgrade method we will drop our table and we will create the new table. So write SQLite database dot execute SQL, and here we will write the query to drop the table. So write drop table if exist, and at the end we have to specify the table name, and after that we will create our table. So we have created our table. Now here we will see how to select the data, how to insert the data, and how to delete the data from our table. For that we need one model class. So here we will create another package name as model, and in this model package we will create another class name as country model. Now here we will write two variables name as ID and another one is for country name. Now in Java we have to create the getter and setter method for this model class. So right click here and click on this generate button and select getter and setter. Here select both the variable and click on the OK button. So this will create getter and setter method for our variables. Now here we will also create two constructor. So write public country model, and in this bracket we will pass the ID and we will pass country name. So we will assign the ID to our ID variable. Same as this we will assign the country name to our country name variable. Now same as this we will create another constructor and we will only pass the country name. So our model class is created. Now here we will create one function to insert the data to the country table. So write public void add country, and here we will take country model as a argument. Now first we will create the object of SQLite database. So write SQLite database db equal to this dot get writable database. Now whenever we want to insert the data, we have to open the database in the writable mode. Now below this we will create the object for content values. So write content values equal to new content values. Now we have to put our data to this content values. So write content values dot put, and here we have to pass the column name which is name as country name, and after that we have to pass the data. So our data is stored in this country model. So write country model dot get country name. Now we have to execute this. So write db dot insert, and here we have to pass the table name. After that we have to pass the null value and at the end we have to pass the content values. So this will insert the data to our particular table, and at the end we have to close the database. So we have seen insert operation. Now we will see how to select all the records from the particular table. So write public list, and which is the type of country model. We will specify the method name as get all countries. Now here we have write list as a return type because we will fetch all the data from table and we will return the data in list format. Now first we will create the object for our list. So write list, which is the type of country model, and here we will write the variable name as country list equal to new array list. Now we have to select all the data. For that we have to write one query. So write string select query equal to, in the double quote we will write select star from table name. So in our case table name is stored in table underscore country. Now here we have to create our SQL database object. So write SQLite database space db equal to this dot get writable database. Now to fetch the data we have to create one object of cursor. So write cursor equal to db dot row query, and here we have to pass the query which is stored in select query variable, and after that we have to pass the null. So our data is execute and it will point by this cursor. Now we will move the cursor to the first database. So write cursor dot move to first. Now if cursor move to first, then we will assume that we have fetched the data. So here we will take one loop. So write do, and we will create one object of country model. Now this will show error because we have not created the default constructor of this country model. So quickly we will create the default constructor of this country model. Now if you do this code in Kotlin language, then you don't have to write these boiler codes. Now below this we will store our database. So write country model dot set id, and here we will write integer dot parse integer, and in this bracket we will write cursor dot get string, and we will pass the position as 0 because the id column is the first column. Now below this we will fetch the country name. So write country model dot set country name, and here we will write cursor dot get string, and here we will pass 1. Now we will add this data to our country list. So write country list dot add, and we will pass this country model. I hope you understand this logic, and when we done this task we will check that cursor dot move to next. If cursor move to next, then we have the data. So loop continues. When move to next variable return false, this loop terminates and we will get the data in country list. At the end we will return country list. So we have get all the data in this list object. I hope you have understand this get all countries function. If you have any query, comment below or DM us on Instagram. Now same as this we will see how to fetch a particular record or how to fetch the given ID record. So below this we will create one function which will return the country model as a return type, and the name of function is get country, and here we will pass the ID because we have to fetch the record of this particular ID. Now same as this we have to create one variable for our SQLite database. After that we have to write the query that select star from table name where ID is equal to this given ID. Now below this we will create the object of cursor. So cursor equal to db row query, and here we have to write the query variable, and after that we have to pass null. Now here we will check if cursor is not equal to null, then we will move the cursor to the first record and we will store this record in this country model. So write country model equal to new country model, and here we will pass the ID. So write integer parseInt, and in this bracket we will write cursor dot get string, and we will pass the 0. After that we will fetch the country name. So write cursor dot get string, and we will pass the ID as 1. So here we will not take the loop because we have only fetched the one record, and here we will return this country model. So till now we have seen how to create the table, how to insert the record in the table. After that we have seen how to get all records and how to get the particular record. Now we will see how to update the record. For that we will create one function which will return integer, and we will give the name as update country, and we will take the country model as an argument. Now same as above, we will create one database object. After that we will create content value equal to new content value. Now here we will put our column. So write content value dot put, then we have to pass the column name and we have to pass our data. Now we will return the table ID. So write db update. Here we have to pass the table name. After that we have to pass the content values. After that we have to pass the ID column because we will update the record of the particular ID, and we will concat the ID with equal to and question mark, and after that we will create the string array, and in this bracket we have to write string dot values of country model dot get ID. So I hope you have understand how to update the record in this country table. Now at the end we will see how to delete record from this country table. For that we will create one function name as delete country, and which will take the argument as country model. Now same as above, we will create the variable for our SQLite database. After that we will write db.delete, and we have to pass the table name. After that we have to specify that which record we have to delete it. So write id equal to, and here we will create the string array, and we will write string dot value of country model dot get id, and at the end we will close the database. So whenever you want to perform any operation on database, first you have to create the object of SQLite database. After that, if you want to select the data, then we have to write our query and we have to execute our query in this cursor. Or we want to insert the data, then we have to create the object of content values, and we have to put all the values in content values variable, and we have to call insert method to insert the database. I hope you have understand this database handler class. Now in this tutorial, this is the main part to understand. If you have any query, comment below or DM us on Instagram. Now we have to bind these things with our view. So in this tutorial, we are going to use list view. For that, I have already created one view to set up. Here I have taken one text view and I have taken two image view, one for edit and one for delete. Now to bind this view, we have to use the adapter. For that, we will create one package name as adapter, and in this adapter package, we will create one class name as country adapter. Now this adapter extends base adapter. Now if you remember that whenever we use recycle view, we will extend recycler adapter, but whenever we use list view, we have to extend base adapter. Now as of now, this will show error because we have not implement the method and we have not create the constructor. So here we will create some variables which is used to implement our task. So write private activity space context. After that we will write array list, which is the type of country model, and we will name as countries. Below this we will create one variable of our database handler. So we have created three variables. Now here we will create one constructor which takes the argument activity. After that we will take array list, which is the type of country model, and at the end we will take the database object. Now here we will assign this variable to our local variable. So write this dot context equal to context. After that this dot countries equal to countries, and at the end this dot db equal to db. So we have created the constructor. Now we have to implement the methods. So these are the methods that we have to implement. So now we can see our error is gone. Now here we will quickly create one class name as view holder. Now in this class we will take one text view. So write txt country name. After that we will take two image view, one for edit and another for delete task. Now in this get count we will return the total count of our country list array. So write countries dot size. So this will return the total count of our list. Now here we will return the I. Now below this we will also return the current position. So we will return I. And this is the main method to implement our view. So here we will do some code. So first we will create the object of view. So write view space row equal to view. Now we will inflate the layout. So write layout inflator space inflate equal to context dot get layout inflator. Now we will create the object of view holder. Now if view is equal to null, then we will create the object of view holder. After that we will set our view. So write row equal to inflator dot inflate r dot layout dot recycle country list. Now here I have given the name as recycle underscore country underscore list because first I will create this tutorial with recycle view. After that I have thought let's do this tutorial with list view so we can also understand the list view. Now here we have to pass the null and at the end we have to pass the true. So we have inflated the layout. Now we have to initialize the objects. So write viewholder dot txt country name equal to row dot find view by id, and here we will specify the id. Same as this we will specify the id of edit and delete button. So we have initialized the layout and we have also initialized the objects. Now if view is not null, then we will get the view holder, then we will get the tags, and here we will set the tag. So write row dot set tag, and here we will pass the view holder. Now we have to set the data. So write view holder dot txt country name dot set text, and in this bracket we will write countries dot get. Here we have to pass the position which we will get in this I variable dot, we have to write get country name. So our country name is set. Now whenever user clicks on the delete button, we have to delete the record. So write view holder dot imgdelete dot set on click listener, and in this bracket we will write new view dot on click listener. So when user clicks on the delete button, first we will delete the record. So write db.delete country, and here we have to pass the country model with the specified position. After that we have to fetch all the records again because we have deleted one record from our database. So here we will fetch the record and let notify dataset change. Now I hope you have understand this logic. Now we will write the click event of edit button. For that we have created one activity to insert the data, and we will use this same activity to edit the data. So here we will create the intent. So write intent I equal to new intent. Here we will pass the context first. After that pass the class name. So add country dot class. Now whenever we open the add country activity, first we have to check that user wants to insert the new record or user wants to update the record. So for that we will put the mode. So write intent dot put extra, and here we will pass the key as mode and we will pass the value as E. E stands for edit, and whenever user wants to edit the data, we will also pass the ID of this particular data. So write ID and we will store the ID. So write countries dot get ID. Now here we have done one mistake because our position variable name as I, and we have created the intent variable same as the name I. So here I will change the name of intent to intent, and at the end we will start the activity. So we have done this country adapter. Now let's move to our main activity and bind our adapter with our list view. So here I have already created the object of list view and the insert button. Now to insert a new record, we will simply open the add country activity. So here we have to call the intent. So we have done this button click event. Now we will see how to bind our adapter with view. For that we have to create some objects of database handler. After that we have to create the object of adapter, and we have to also create the country list array. Now we have to initialize the database. So write db equal to new database handler. Here we have to pass the context. Now we have to fetch the data from the database. So write country model array list equal to db dot get all countries. Now this will show error because we have not typecast. Now our data is fetched in this country model array list. Now we have to set this data to our adapter. So write country adapter equal to new country adapter. Here we have to pass the context first. After that we have to pass the list, and at the end we have to pass the database object, and here we will simply set our adapter to the list. So we have bind our adapter with our list view. So till now we have seen how to edit the data, how to delete the data, and how to fetch all the records. Now at the end we will see how to insert the data to our table. So here I have already created the object of submit button and the object of edit text. Now to done this insert and update operation, we need some variables. So I will quickly create all the variables which we have required to insert and update the data. I will also explain all these things in detail. Now first we have to initialize our database object. So write db equal to new database handler, and in this bracket we have to pass this. Now we have to get the intent. So write intent equal to get intent. Now first we have to check that user wants to edit the data or user wants to update the data. For that we will put one condition that if intent is not equal to null and intent dot get string extra, and in this bracket we have to pass the key dot equals, and here we have to pass e. E stands for edit mode. So if these both conditions become true, then user wants to edit the data. So here we will set the is edit mode to true. We will change the submit text button to update data, and whenever user wants to update the data, first we have to set the previous data in our edit text. For that we have to fetch the data of this particular ID from our database. So here we will write country model equal to db dot get country, and here we have to pass the ID of the, and here we have to pass the ID, and here we have to pass the default value. So our data is fetched in this country model. Now let's set this data to our edit text. So write edit text dot set text, and in this bracket we will write country model dot get country name. So we have set the data. Now if this condition return false, then we have to set the edit mode to false, and we will set the button text as insert data. I hope you understand this logic. Using this logic, we can use one activity for two tasks, for edit the task and another for insert the task. Now here we will write the click event of this submit button. Now here first we have to check that user wants to edit the data or user wants to insert the new data. Now if this variable returns true, then user wants to edit the data, else user wants to insert the data. So first we will see how to insert the data. So here we will write country model equal to new country model, and here we have to pass the data which is written in the edit text. So write edit text country name dot get text dot toString, and to insert the data we have to call add country method of our database handler class, and here we have to pass the country model. So our data is inserted. Now to update the data we have to write country model equal to new country model, and here we have to get the ID. So write intent dot get int extra, and here we have to pass the key, and after that we have to pass the default value. After that we have to pass the country name. So write edit text dot get text dot toString. Now we will call the update method of our database handler class, and here we will pass the country model. So we have done the insert and update operation. Now here we have to start the activity. So write start activity new intent this, and here we have to pass the main activity dot class. Here we cannot call this because we have to pass the actual context, and at the end we will finish this activity. I hope you understand all the tutorials. If you have any query, comment below or DM us on Instagram. Now if you want to learn CRUD operation in Kotlin language, watch this video. If you have any suggestions to make the tutorial on a particular topic, comment below. I will make the tutorial on it. Now let's run the code and see the output.
So here we can see our app is running. Now using this add country button, we can add the country. So we will add one country name as India, and let's click on this insert data button. So we can see our data is inserted. Now let's edit this data. So I have entered 2, and let's click on this update data button. So we can see our data is updated. Now let's click on this delete button and see third delete operation. So we can see our record is deleted. Thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Stay tuned.